It was a great time for me to hear about this opportunity because, as a soon-to-be college graduate, I had a bunch of questions about life goals, dreams, obstacles, finding a mate and getting a job. And I needed answers. Even though my dad was my normal go-to guy for subjects like this, my mom always offered me a unique spiritual insight that I hadn't heard from others, and what she said intrigued me. When I was growing up, Mom would always remind me that I had an assignment, a purpose, and a destiny all my own that I needed to discover. But this encouraging thought also perplexed me because I didn't know what my calling in life could possibly be or how I would ever discover it. My mom didn't have all the answers, but she knew where I could find them. Over the years, I have wondered if anyone else discovered what my mom introduced to me. I found out by studying history, reading biographies, and talking with others that the answer is yes. The stories I read and heard didn't use the term two chairs, but the description of the moments these people experienced on a regular basis, as well as with whom they met, was always starkly similar. The puzzling question for me is, why don't more people talk about this? I'm sure as you're reading this, you have the same questions I had when I first heard about two chairs. Questions like, why two chairs? Who sits in the other one? What's the point of the meeting? What will be discussed? How often do I need to meet? I have enough meetings already. How can I fit in any more? How long will this take? These are all natural questions, but the answers are much deeper than you think. If you're like most people, you're probably thinking, who has the time or energy for deep thinking, deep reflection, or deep anything? But don't allow yourself to go there, because deep down, you know something is wrong. It might be something small or something big, but you know you don't have an answer for it. You've come to a realization there is a limit to what you can do on your own. My mom came to understand her own limitations and turned it into a strategic advantage the rest of her life. She would always tell me that in this life you will have trouble. It's unfortunately one of the common bonds we all share. Life will be crazy, painful, messy, and suddenly tragic. Often you don't cause it, sometimes you do. Regardless of how it arrives, you must be prepared. This is where asking good questions becomes a difference maker. Have you noticed, however, that when things are going your way, you don't spend a lot of time asking a lot of questions? In fact, you want to knock on wood, not rock the boat, and hope life can just stay good. But we all know this kind of naive thinking leads to problems. On one hand, you face some problems that you confidently believe you can and should handle yourself. A broken garage door, a flooded bathroom, a kid sick again at daycare, or that one person at work who doesn't seem to like you no matter what you do or say. But on the other hand, there are problems that bring so much trouble to your heart that you don't know what to do or where to turn. An accident, a job loss, a bad health prognosis, divorce papers served, or a son or daughter in trouble. In times like these, it is easy to isolate yourself and start feeling hopeless. If you're truly honest with yourself, you'll admit that you have a lot more of the second kind of problems than you'd ever want to tell anyone about. That's why you need something bigger than who you are, bigger than your thoughts, your ways, and clearly bigger than any trouble that hits you square between the eyes. Believe me when I tell you two chairs is what you've needed all along. I'll never forget my first two chairs moment. It changed my life forever. I already had a perfect spot in my apartment that was quiet. And there were already two chairs there that my mom had bought me several years back. Now that I think about it, I wonder if she bought those chairs for me intentionally and had been praying that I would go there for this specific purpose one day. Knowing my mom, the answer is yes. Moms are sneaky in this way, aren't they? I didn't really know what the first meeting would be like, except that my mom had said, go with the expectation that he's been waiting for this moment with you for a long time now. I said, really? She nodded and said, you'll see. I had just one more question for my mom. How should I start out a conversation with God? Just be you, Bob, she said.